So hello everyone again and welcome to my channel. Quite fascinating because if you look at my previous video, I gave you guys a nice flow chart involved in particle physics where we look at the most important particles that are actually found in an atom. Previous years ago we looked at Rutherford experiment, which was quite fascinating because Rutherford was able to actually introduce a nice experiment which is popular today, known as the gold foil experiment. And gold foil experiment was able to introduce the concept of what an atom contains, and it's beautiful in such a way that if you look at this scan over here or a screen over here, what we do is that we include a particular gold foil, which are actually little particles that forms a gold over there. And what we realize is that if you subject this gold over here to a particular directed ray which produces alpha particles, and alpha particles is not to be helium in this case, what we realize is that there's scattering of these alpha particles as they approach or pass through the gold foil. However, there are some other cases where they actually bounce off over there, and interesting enough, these scattering particles generate different angles due to the collision between particles in this particular gold foil. Beautiful to actually look at this, and what we discovered was that this particular gold consists of an atom which has fundamental particles. We have sea of electrons, which you can call electron density, or some people might call it electron cloud, or some people can call it orbitals over there. And these electrons are all surrounding the nucleus, which consists of the neutron and also a proton. And this particular position in the nucleus is known to be positively charged. However, these sea of electrons are known to be are all negatively charged. Now, looking at the electron, if you look at our previous video, we discovered that the electron is actually a fundamental particle. And once you're a fundamental particle and you are light compared to that of the nucleus, then you're able to be categorized as the leptons, and the leptons are known to obey the fermion principle, and this fermion principle introduces the concept of fermions being able to have obeyed the Pauli exclusion principle and also having a half integral spin in this process. Now, the most important question is about the proton, and does the proton, which is a positively charged particle, do they have other particles inside it, or do they just exist on their own? Interesting enough, when we perform this particular experiment where we subject this to the Rutherford scattering process, we looked at the number of count versus that of the scattering angle. What we realize is that if we introduce this plot, which is a theoretical one where we actually have no scattering in this process, what we get is that we have a nice change as you get to increasing number of scattering angles. Thereby, this makes us to believe that large number of particles deflected through large scattering angles actually makes us to conclude that the atom has an internal structure. So that is really beautiful for we to be able to use this graph to be able to explain this particular discovery of the atom having fundamental particles, which are electrons, protons, and neutrons. And now the most interesting one is, would the proton be able to produce the same result, or we just have to accept that the proton is just a fundamental particle? Interesting enough, when you do the same experiment for the proton, where you have the scattering angle over here alongside that of the number of count, what we realize is that when you introduce this particular point over here, which is the theoretical state over here, our result here is quite different, but yet the same with respect to the atom over here, where at large number of particles deflected through large scattering angles, we are able to infer that the proton indeed consists of internal structure, and this internal structure includes 3 quarks. And if you look at our previous video, we categorize a proton to be a fermion and particle, and once you're a fermion, then you'll be able to obey the Pauli exclusion principle and also that of the Dirac statistics as well. And beautiful enough, you also have a half integral spin, and also you're considered to be, in this case for a proton, to be a baryon. And once you're a baryon, then you're under the heavier particles, and once you're a heavier particle, then heavy particles will have quarks involved, in this case where for the proton you will have the up, and on the other side you're going to have a down, and all these quarks, they'll interact with respect to each other to form the proton over there. So that's about it for this particular concept of protons having other particles in it and not just being a fundamental particle. Protons is not a fundamental particle. However, electron is a fundamental particle, but a neutron is not a fundamental particle. It consists of other quarks involved for neutron and protons. However, electrons, they don't have internal structure. An electron is just one fundamental particle, and it's beautiful to see all these experiments giving us interesting real life results. And all the same, guys, thanks for following me through this. I truly appreciate it. If you like this, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with everyone around you, and let me hear your thoughts about this particular concept. Have a good day, peace, love you all, and see ya on my next video.